Have you noticed something strange lately? You sleep, but you don't feel rested. You take breaks, but your mind never actually stops. You sit down to relax, and instead of relief, you feel restless, even irritated, as if rest itself has become another task you're failing at. And the most unsettling part? You can't explain why. You're not exhausted because you're weak. You're exhausted because rest, as we once knew it, no longer exists. In this video, we're going to uncover why rest doesn't feel restorative anymore, what's quietly happening inside your mind, and why modern relaxation often leaves you more drained than before. This isn't about productivity hacks. This is about something deeper, the way your nervous system, attention, and sense of safety have been fundamentally altered. Let's begin. Rest used to mean safety. For most of human history, rest wasn't something you scheduled. It happened naturally. Rest meant the hunt was over. The danger had passed. The fire was lit. The night had arrived. Your nervous system understood rest as safety. When you lay down, your brain wasn't scanning for stimulation. It wasn't waiting for updates. It wasn't evaluating missed opportunities. It simply powered down. Today, rest has lost its original meaning. When you rest now, nothing actually stops. Your environment keeps talking. Your phone vibrates. Your mind replays unfinished conversations, future anxieties, digital noise. Your body lies still, but your nervous system stays alert. And a nervous system that doesn't feel safe cannot rest, no matter how still you are. You're never off duty anymore. One of the biggest reasons rest feels ineffective is simple, but brutal. You are never truly off. Even when you're not working, your brain behaves as if you are. Messages can arrive at any moment. Information is endless. There is always something else you could be consuming. This creates what psychologists call continuous partial attention. You're never fully engaged, but you're never fully disengaged either. Your mind stays slightly tense, slightly open, slightly vigilant. And vigilance is the opposite of rest. True rest requires psychological permission to disengage, but modern life quietly teaches you that disengagement equals falling behind. So even while resting, a part of you stays on duty, watching, checking, anticipating, and that background tension accumulates. Rest has been turned into consumption. Look at how we relax today. Scrolling, streaming, endless content, endless stimulation. We've replaced rest with low-effort consumption. But consumption is not restoration. Your brain doesn't interpret scrolling as rest. It interprets it as input. Even passive content activates attention systems, emotional processing, comparison mechanisms, memory recall. You're not resting. You're just working without realizing it. This is why you can spend hours relaxing and still feel depleted. Your mind never had a chance to become quiet. Silence feels uncomfortable now because your nervous system isn't trained for it anymore. Your brain confuses stillness with threat. Here's something unsettling. For many people, true stillness now triggers anxiety. When stimulation stops, unresolved thoughts surface. Emotions you've been outrunning catch up. So your brain learns something dangerous. Stillness means discomfort. And once your mind associates rest with emotional exposure, it begins to resist it. You reach for your phone automatically. You distract yourself instinctively, not because you're addicted, but because you're protecting yourself. Rest has become psychologically unsafe. The problem isn't fatigue. it's overstimulation. We often describe our state as tired, but that word is misleading. Most people aren't physically exhausted. They're neurologically overloaded. Your brain was not designed to process constant novelty, endless information, continuous emotional triggers, perpetual comparison. So instead of shutting down at night, your mind keeps cycling. Rest becomes shallow because your system never resets. You wake up feeling like you never left the mental battlefield. Rest now comes with guilt. Another invisible factor poisoning rest is guilt. Rest used to be neutral. Now it feels earned or undeserved. While resting, a voice whispers, "You should be doing more. You're wasting time. You're falling behind." This internal pressure keeps your stress hormones elevated, and stress chemistry blocks recovery. You can't rest while judging yourself for resting. You don't know how to transition anymore. One forgotten skill is transition. We move instantly from stimulation to supposed rest, from screens to bed, from noise to silence, from tension to expectation of peace. But the nervous system doesn't work like that. Without a transition, your body stays activated. This is why rest feels abrupt, uncomfortable, incomplete. You're asking a system locked in motion to stop instantly, and it doesn't know how. Sleep is no longer a reset button. Sleep used to reset the mind. Now, for many people, sleep is just unconscious rumination, dreams filled with stress, nighttime awakenings, morning fatigue. The mind never fully releases control. This isn't a failure of sleep. It's a failure of letting go before sleep. What real rest actually requires. Real rest is not inactivity. It is permission. Permission to disengage. Permission to be unreachable. Permission to be unfinished. Rest requires psychological safety. It requires boundaries, rhythms, predictability. Your nervous system must trust that nothing urgent will happen if you stop. Without that trust, rest becomes performative, not restorative. Why slowness feels unnatural now. Slowness feels wrong because you live in acceleration. Your mind adapts to speed. It begins to expect it. So when things slow down, the absence of stimulation feels like emptiness, even loss. But slowness isn't emptiness. It's where integration happens. Meaning forms slowly. Emotions settle slowly. Identity stabilizes slowly. Rest doesn't feel good at first because you're not used to it anymore. The difference between escape and rest. Most modern rest is actually escape. Escape avoids discomfort. Rest allows it to dissolve. Escape distracts. Rest integrates. This is why escaping leaves you tired, and rest, once relearned, makes you whole again. Rest as an act of resistance. In a world that profits from your attention, real rest is rebellion, choosing silence, choosing slowness, choosing limits. Not to be productive, but to be human again. Rest is not laziness. It is nervous system repair. How to let rest feel restful again. You don't start by resting longer. You start by resting differently. Reduce inputs before rest. Create transitions. Lower expectations. Allow boredom. Stop judging the process. Rest is a skill you must relearn. And like all deep skills, it feels awkward at first. You are not broken. If rest doesn't feel restful anymore, something is wrong. But it's not you. Your mind adapted to a world that never turns off. The exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It's a signal that your nervous system is asking for safety, slowness, and space. Rest isn't gone. It's waiting, quietly, for you to make room for it again.